gonna get started. Hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. I'm really excited to welcome you all, Lena Gold, our guest chef of honor. Lena Gold is a creative chef with a background in environmental studies. She went to the Institute of Culinary
Education
and studied health supportive arts. Studied the health supportive arts program. Lena has a really environmental background, creative background, and she loves incorporating seasonal plant-based foods into her creative dishes. So without further ado, please welcome Lena Gold.
Yes, and this is my younger sister. She's done amazing. But yeah, I'm Chef Lena. I'm really excited to be here. This has just been like an amazing whirlwind experience that has kind of led me to this point. And like my sister Miranda said, I have an educational background in environmental studies, so always have that really at the top of my mind. And then I kind of had the classic Bay Area story where after college I wound up in tech. And I was doing community management, so I have a social media marketing background in that sense, but I asked the question, do I want to be doing this? Is this what is, I've ended at this point, but is this what is making me happy for the rest of my life? And I flipped my life around and I went to culinary school at Institute of Culinary Education, which is in LA. And they have this amazing program. It's called the Health Supportive Community Arts Program. And that's where I got to have the really traditional culinary educational experience while also, bringing in all these different themes of my passions, which are whole food cooking, being able to use food in a very creative way, expanding my knowledge on vegan cuisine, and also it all coming full circle with the environmental kind of moral forefront. So yeah, I am going to be making vegan ricotta today. Has anyone made vegan cheeses or yeah? I think that if you're probably at this event, there's a good chance that we've all made a version of like a vegan cheese, a vegan ricotta, but something that was really exciting about being in culinary school and then also afterwards working in a restaurant that's 2 Michelin star after culinary school, so I got to work under incredible chefs and learn so many techniques, is that I got to play around and find what I feel like is my dream ricotta cheese. So that's what I have here for you today. And then also as well, I have vegan lasagna samples for you all to try. And I think with this weather as well, it's like, we all just want comfort food right now. It's a little chilled. So yeah, that's what I have here for you today. I wanted to start by talking, because it sounds like a lot of you have made a vegan cheese, and that there's a lot of different nuts that you can use, and it can kind of get confusing if you look at recipes. I was just looking at what is out there written online, and it has like cashews, silken tofu, almonds, and there isn't really a lot of clarity on how to kind of get that really silky smooth ricotta consistency. I've tried it with combinations of almond and tofu, and anyways, what I've found for you is these are slivered almonds. I got them at the bulk section in Berkeley Bowl, but I'm sure Rainbow Grocery, Gus's, any of them in San Francisco have them as well. And because they're already so finely ground up almost, it does help kind of create that silky smooth texture. But what I do is I have them soaking in water overnight, and that really absorbs the water and just kind of softens them as well. So this is the soaked slivered almonds that I'll be using to make the demo. And yeah, just to talk about some of the other options I've used. I mean, if you don't find slivered almonds, I've also used whole raw almonds with the skin on. Just soak them overnight in water, nothing fancy, put them in the fridge. The next day, if you're, I don't know, if you have anything that you like to do where you're like multitasking, I really like having kind of like almost like a fidget toy or something like that. You just kind of like, they pop right off. The skins just pop right off of the almonds once they're soaked. So you can use that as well. But yeah, these I had soaking in water overnight. This is 2 cups of slivered almonds. And I apologize in advance, the blender will be a little bit loud at some point, but yeah, I have 2 cups of the slivered almonds, and then I have a half a cup of oat milk. Like I said, the most amazing thing about vegan cooking is that you can make it your own, right? There isn't a wrong way to make something. If you use almond milk, no big deal. It's also the greatest part about making vegan cheeses is that you can make it to your taste. You can also have it more liquidy, less liquidy, if you want it to be more tight, like a burrata type, or if you want it to be like a smooth ricotta, like I've used in the lasagna, where you can just, you know, kind of create a thin layer, then it's easy. So I have a half a cup of oat milk. I put a little bit more in here in case I need more. And it's 1-to-1, so half a cup of water as well. And then I have 2 teaspoons of salt. I have 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. I just squeezed that this morning, so easy. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier, where if you want to make it more cheesy, you can add nutritional yeast. If you want to put it in a baking recipe, a lemon poppy seed ricotta cake, a ricotta olive oil cake, you know, you can use it in so many different facets. And so I'm just going to use some nutritional yeast because why not? We love it a little bit cheesy and nutty. And then the nice thing is that because it's such a small amount, the almonds are white, the oat milk is lighter, it still creates that white kind of consistency that we are all used to seeing in the markets. So just gonna put this on high speed real quick. And as it goes, you'll see at first it'll look like a smoothie, but because the almonds are really breaking down, I tend to start it on low and continue the speed up high so that you can create the consistency that you want, and it'll start to thicken up. Okay, so I'll pour these in for later. And then you have this really amazing ricotta consistency that, you know, will be smooth. If you wanted it to be thicker, you can always add more almonds. I, of course, added some extra oat milk and water in here for the demo in case I needed it. So what is on the recipe here is what I would highly recommend doing as you move forward. And yeah, feel free to adapt it to however you want. I mean, how many of you can think of recipes that have ricotta in it? There's so many. I mean, there's Italian, there's baking, like I said. But what I think is the most interesting thing about vegan cooking is that what we're used to seeing growing up with an ingredient, we see ricotta, and we use it for this one thing. We use it for like an Italian lasagna or a cannoli or, cannellini. But with this, it's like you can put it in a sauce. You can make it a creamy sauce if you wanted. You have some Impossible Burger, a red sauce, and then you want to make it a creamy red sauce and put it on top of pasta. There's really no limits, and I think that that's what's amazing about the vegan community is that we all have these kind of different perceptions of what cooking is, and there isn't rules for it. I went to culinary school for plant-based whole food, and if I had gone to a traditional French, culinary program, it's like, this is the way you do it, and this is what it's meant for. And there is a lot of, very strict or just technical ways to do a specific thing. But yeah, I just think it's amazing to not look at ingredients, plant-based ingredients, as it being used for just that one sole purpose. Yeah, I think that if you guys have any questions, I just wanted to share that, like, this is my love in life. I hope that it shows through. I think that when you do cook and you do, you change careers, you do things in life, you pivot, but you find what makes you truly happy. That's really all that matters, and that's exactly why I'm here. So I just want to say thank you all for being a part of this, and if you guys have any questions about what the demo is, yeah.
I have a question about making Spanish omelet. And I've never done that because the best Spanish omelet I ever had was with potatoes. Actually, it's very popular. We used to let 2 generations ago in Spain. And I had the best one I ever had. I had with a friend who's not a vegan or a vegetarian. She said it was also the best she'd ever had, and it was vegan. And that was with all those eggs that they normally use. They usually use eggs, potatoes, and onions, garlic, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that?
So is it like a Spanish omelet, is it kind of like roasted vegetables, or?
It's just like it's just potatoes. And now I think what they usually use, I went to ask that because it's on the calle de Venezuela in Madrid, and it's very popular with young people. It was popular with me too. But they said they used garbanzo flour.
Yeah, garbanzo is huge.
But it was just so good. I just wanted to use the tablets if you needed to.
Yeah.
If you've ever done anything with omelets.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that the most popular egg product out there is Just Egg. That's made with mung bean, and you can make it. It's really good, and it's actually not that hard to make. Yeah, I'll do a round 2. I have my information up here. I have a food account just for vegan plant-based cooking, and I'm also a private chef, so I am also happy to talk with you about what your specific dietary needs are, what your interests are, and I can help work with you to create a dish that you find that you love, and maybe something that you had when you weren't vegan and you wish you could have now. I think that I used to say when I worked in the kitchen in San Francisco, it was not a vegan restaurant, like I said, but it was to learn techniques from Michelin star chefs. And I used to say to them, anything you can do, I can make vegan. They thought I was crazy, but but yeah, chickpeas, there's a lot of different different routes you can do, whether it's like the chickpea water that it sits in, which acts as an egg, or mung bean. And I think I would need a visual of what you're thinking to be able to give you specifics.
Your email or some contact?
Yes, I have all of my contact information right here, my Instagram, email, number. But I love working with people. I love hearing what everyone's individual interests and needs are, and kind of thinking creatively to find that that request. Yeah.
Where are you living?
So I've been living in San Francisco for 7 years, and I just moved to Rockridge, Oakland, but I have clients that are in San Francisco, so I'm here all the time. And Rockridge is only, right over the bridge. Yeah, I'm right by Millennium, which is very dangerous if anyone has been. It's delicious.
Yeah, so I'd like to about just eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can make whatever you want, just like, using the veal eggs, using just eggs.
Mm-hmm.
We've been using just eggs from the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
From the market.
Yeah.
So, and I'm really trying all those egg replacers in the market. Just eggs is the best.
It really is. And
The best. And you can find now in Walmart. Walmart is selling just eggs.
that's amazing. And the thing is, you can also bake with just egg.
Oh yes, cakes are wonderful.
Cakes are wonderful with just egg. You don't need, of course there's so many egg replacements. There's a flax egg and a banana and applesauce and all of those. But I'm with you. Just egg is really the best. But it's also, you can make it if you feel like you're spending a lot of money on all of these vegan products, which I am a huge fan of. I'm not trying, but I think that if you're a vegan and you like to cook, always have some soaked cashews or almonds or nuts in your fridge you can make a sauce with. And learning, I can always work with any of you if you want to learn about how to make these egg replacers or things from scratch. So.
I went to a French restaurant and I thought, I just see anything on the menu. But it turned out this is the one Zazie. And it turned out that every omelet was made just egg on one part of the menu. Every single omelet.
Isn't that so exciting that so many restaurants are really seeing that this is the moment to change gears? And I think that seeing it also from this Michelin chef point of view, where it's not to say anything negative, but that this is the way that things have always been, but to also really be this kind of voice of the vegan movement for wherever you are, is that there's other ways you can make this, and it tastes just as good, and if not better. So.
Oh, I just wanted to ask how you became vegan.
It's a funny story, actually, because, I was an environmental major in college. I was always very focused on public health and policy and food. And I think, knowing about our food system, I think there's a lot of us know the water, the animal agriculture, how it impacts people, all of that. I don't think I need to get into it. But there was a while where I was mostly cut out, but I would teeter back and forth just because I also am very passionate about trying foods and exploring. And I would actually give credit to my younger sister Miranda, who introduced me, because we had so many conversations where she was like, how can you be an environmentalist and not be fully vegan? And that's really, yeah. So credits to this girl. Yeah. And I mean, just to go back, I mean, I never had a hard time with dairy because I was always lactose intolerant, but I think there's always things that that people will find, like, I can't be vegan because of this, or there's something I will miss out on. But we are really finding that there's replacements, there's a solution to all of those questions that people ask. I remember being like, I love sour cream on my burritos and tacos, and like Kite Hill sour cream is amazing. And also, if you've been to like Taco Boys, is it Taco Boys or Taco? Yeah, they have a full vegan menu. There's just a lot out there. I never feel like I'm missing out. So, yeah, that went full circle, but yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? I saw some.
Do you remember, like, when you first started, vegan or plant-based, do you remember a recipe or a dish that rocked your world that you thought, oh yeah, I can do this, or I can continue on?
What's funny is I always go through phases of food. Like, I'll go through like a curry phase, and then I'll go through like a phase where I'm making Impossible or Beyond meatballs. I really love sauces, and I think that that's also what elevates vegan food so much, is that it's not just that it's a meatball, it's that it's like, what is it marinated in, what are all the different spices and ingredients. And I don't think there was one that rocked my world, but I do remember making my family like these vegan meatballs in particular, and then they all started making them. And they were like, and then when I went to culinary school, there was even more, like, I started making kelp noodles with seaweed, and doing sushi with watermelon and tomato, and I just kept growing and expanding. And there was never like one aha moment, but there's been so many moments where I'm like, this is so cool, this is so amazing. Yeah.
With this ricotta, it seems like you're getting the bite from the lemon, from the acid in the lemon. Are you fermenting? Do you have versions of this that are fermented somehow?
Ooh, you totally can. I've thought about that. I haven't tested enough with it, so I don't think I want to, suggest anything right now until I've probably done more trial and error on my own. But yeah, I mean, if you have anything that's fermented and gives you that probiotic and kind of that that mouthfeel in the back, that's like, yeah, that's like kind of that tingling lemon. Yeah, I love that, and it's conversations like these that get you like thinking about all the different options and alternatives. And like they said, this isn't the sole be all ricotta. This is what I think is a really easy, very delicious, smooth texture. A lot of them are grainy ricotta. So, yeah, I would love to try that out.
You can curdle the almond milk, and you can
Curdle it.
the almond milk and pass it through the cheese cloth. So that's one way of making ricotta.
Yeah. And then you would heat it, add the lemon, wait it to curdle. I've done it that way as well. Yeah.
Because that gives that fermented taste.
Yeah. I've definitely done it that way, and I think it's delicious. I definitely needed more. It wasn't a quick and easy 30-minute demo recipe, but if anyone's interested in doing that, yeah, I've tried that out before, and it's amazing. Yeah. Does anyone else have any other questions, or?
Just to follow on to that.
Yeah.
So I made a few different fermented nut cheeses. Mm-hmm. And I have to mention that about not having the skin on the almonds and not having soap, because I made like almond and walnut and a few other nuts as well, where you put it in there, start with a probiotic, and then depending on how creamy you want, you can actually make it solid. And then put it in, basically in front of a fan for a little while. So you let it ferment for that, and you fan, you get that crusty, you roll it on the outside. But it was always the skin that got in the way. Right? Like it was the skin of the almond that got in the way. So I think the next batch I did was going to be
soak it.
That skinless and soak it.
Yes, skinless.
To get that kind of smooth texture without the almost seems like you're chewing paper.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you just have, I usually buy them in bulk. So if you just have a lot of like whole almonds with the skin on, yeah, just soak them and honestly just sit in front of the TV or the fireplace and just kind of pop them off, and it's just a little fidget, and I love that. And yeah, even I just want to also say roasted almonds, don't do that. Yeah. I just tried it just to see what it was like, but the skin doesn't actually come off, and then also the almonds are so dark from the skin, so you're not going to have that look-alike that we all love.
Yeah. Well, can you tell us a little bit about culinary school?
Mm-hmm.
What was that like for you? Were you vegan when you went to culinary school? Mm-hmm. So then...
Yeah. So, my program, Health Supportive Culinary Arts at Institute of Culinary Education. They have a campus in LA and a campus in New York City. The other really famous one is CIA. I forget what it's culinary. Anyways, but the amazing thing about this school is that they have this program which is all on whole food and nutritional, just kind of like thinking about food in a different way. And I always loved the idea of going to culinary school, but I had no interest in doing the classic French cooking. And so when I found this program, I was so excited. I did a tour of the school. These instructors were the most passionate people I have ever met, and they are willing to work with you. There's, of course, some days, because it is a culinary program, where you do have egg day and like you do some fish. I would say it's 95% plant-based. And also, if you didn't want to do the egg day or the fish day, they will actually work with you to do another project. If you felt like that is not for you, they actually will be like, okay, let's teach you more about tempeh, or we made tofu homemade, or let's learn a different technique. And so the instructors really cater to your needs and your personal interests. I was so lucky to be a part of an almost all-female class, which was super rare in the culinary world. And we were all we came from so many different backgrounds. One was from the Philippines, one was from Mexico, one was from Russia, and it was a very international class. And I think having all of those backgrounds which is what you will find when you go to a culinary school, is that you will find people that want to show their upbringing in food. I learned how to make traditional mole from the woman from Mexico, from her city that her family's from in Mexico. And then, we made borscht with the woman from Russia. And then the woman from the Philippines, she showed us how to make cassava cake, which was just so good. And we would even just after school, it was 4.5 hours a day, 5 days a week. And then, of course, there was a lot of assignments and essays, and I had to create my own menus and a name for my restaurant that I would have, and then we would have a lot of exams where some of them were demos like this, and other ones were actually it was almost like chopped kitchen. They would just throw like a cart of food, and we would just try and like pick out like which ones, like we would try and get, you know, a protein and a veggie and a grain, and we would just be running and trying to get the best part of the kitchen and then making it within 30 minutes or whatever time period we had, because you never know what you're going to get into after culinary school. We had kitchen fires, which were very like Gordon Ramsay, like, you know, we need like 2 plates of food of this and at this time, and you know, we would have to make sure the plates were in the ovens warm. Like, there's a lot of very finite details. I think that the thing that I took the most out of culinary school, aside from understanding on a deeper level like whole food cooking, was how to keep your station clean and how to be really efficient in a kitchen. When I was in the restaurant after culinary school, I had this much space for my cutting board, and you know, like, this would have been a dream, but yeah, I mean, to be able to work under pressure and be able to produce a lot of food at one time, it was an amazing skill I learned. So there is not one answer to that. There's like, I just loved it. I had the best experience, and if anyone wants to talk about that program with me, I'm more than happy to.
How long did it last?
It was 7 months, and part of the program was that they called an externship at the end, so you do 6 weeks in a restaurant, and so that's the one that I did in San Francisco here. Yeah. It was called Automat, so it wasn't a vegan restaurant by any means, but the same owners own Lazy Bear, which is a 2 Michelin star restaurant in the Mission, and they also own True Laurel. And so they're a very, very respected, you know, restaurant and business, and the chefs that I worked under, I am, you know, in debt to them forever, so, yeah. Yeah. Anyone else?
Does that cheese that recipes tend to solidify more overnight?
Yeah, especially because it has liquid. But even just now, like when I first showed it to you, it was much more liquidy than it is right now. One of the things that I took from the restaurant is in the burrata, like this is not the vegan burrata, containers, they have these like cups that drain liquid out. It's supposed to help solidify cheeses, and they're basically just like little cones with a bunch of little holes in it. And so I took the plastic ones from home, and so I make the kind of cheese molds. I just reuse them, and I just make the cheese molds out of them. But you can find them online, or, you know, obviously use a cheesecloth or whatever it is. But putting it in something, putting it, and then getting it cold will always usually solidify it more. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you need to refrigerate the ricotta afterwards, and also like how long does it last before it goes bad?
Yeah. Definitely refrigerate it if you're not cooking with it right away, and I would say about 3 days. Yeah. It could, I would say for freshness, yeah, kind of the 3-day mark is the end. Yes?
What is your favorite baking recipe or baking dish with a ricotta? Mention that at the beginning.
Yeah. I love lemon cookies, lemon poppy seed. So doing kind of like a play off of a lemon ricotta cookie is so good. Yeah, that's kind of the first thing that comes to mind. But I also have been really thinking about, especially leading up to this, I've been really thinking about all the different recipes I want to try out, like even doing like coffee cakes or, you know, I'm sure Hillary from Deliciously Vegan SF has an enormous amount of ideas when it comes to desserts and cookies and baking, because that's her jam. But yeah.
Your
your immediate family, they're all vegan?
Almost all of us are vegan. Yeah, we share that. We're all like big foodies. We like are always sending each other, different restaurants that are opening up in the Bay Area. There's one that I'm dying to try called Lion's Dance Cafe. It sounds amazing. Lion's Dance, it's in Oakland, yeah. Thank you. I love the schedule memorization. Yeah, now that I'm in Oakland, now that I'm in Rockridge, I am exploring all of those. But yeah. Oh, really? Okay. Because I am dangerously close to Millennium. It's so good. Yeah.
They're harvested in Thursday. Pumpkin harvesting.
At Millennium.
Yep.
Did everyone hear that?
Oh, it might be full. But I'm going.
Yeah, we'll all go. I'll see you all there. Yeah. But let me see where the lasagna is, and we can get those testers out. I know they're in the oven, so they might still be warming up, but I'll be right back. Thank you.